So today we'll be talking about creating a multi-representation part 2. I'm going to hit the highlights of what we missed yesterday, and your whole assignment is going to be about this. So make sure you're paying attention to every detail because I'm going to be counting off if you're not doing the things I'm asking you to do. Okay? So yet again, you should have graph paper from me. You should make a big T. Okay? Be neat. Okay? Because on your assignment, I need you to be neat so I can clearly see what's going on. Title your notes, create a multi-rep part 2, and we're going to do this problem. 3x minus 4y equals 16. And then you're going to label your boxes. This one is slope and intercept. This one's table. This one's graph. And this one is x and y intercepts. Okay? Some of y'all on your assignment just didn't do this at all. All you did was solve for y. You didn't make a multi-rep, which on the paper I passed back, just real quickly. If I drew something like this and then like that, that means that you should have made a multi-rep and then you missed, you missed 3 of them or you missed all of them or something like that. Okay? That's what that little box meant. Okay, so take notes. Make sure you're doing what I'm asking you to do. Here, we're going to solve for slope and y-intercept. I can tell the slope and intercept when I solve for y. So I'm going to write down that problem. 3x minus 4y equals 16. I'm going to draw my line. And I'm going to solve for y. So your y, negative 4 is your best friend. We're going to kick out 3x. The opposite of positive 3x is negative 3x. Okay? That goes away. Make sure that is a negative 4y equals, and then we write these things side by side. This should be very easy for you. And then make sure you're dividing by a negative 4. Okay? Yet again, nothing I'm doing should be new. Negative 3 divided by negative 4 is 0.75, but we math enter, and we do 3/4. It's kind of hard to see on my calculator. 3/4 x. Okay? And then I'll just tell you, positive 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 4. Okay? So mistake number 1, a lot of y'all are doing is you're just leaving it like this. But that's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope is 3/4. So slope is 3/4. Make sure you do not write the x there. That's a point off I'll take. Period. Okay? The y-intercept is the other number. So y-intercept is, and I need it as a point, 0, negative 4. Okay? So I need to see these things written out. Make sure you're identifying what is the slope, what is the y-intercept. I would really recommend you having me check this part before you move on. Because if you made a mistake and dropped your negative and this is wrong, every single part's going to be wrong. So yet again, I would have me check this to make sure it's right. That way you don't do all this work and all of it's wrong because you forgot a negative or you did something wrong. Okay? The next thing you do is the table. So you make an x, y table. For the most part, y'all got this pretty good. But I'm going to show you a little difference with this stuff. So I'm going to go to y equals and type in 3/4 x minus 4. Okay? And then go to the table. You should do this in your own calculator. But you can see here that some of my numbers are regular numbers. 0, negative 4. Down here I see 4, negative 1. And some have decimals. Do not pick something that has decimals for your table. It's going to be very hard to plot negative 3.25. Okay? But it's easy to plot for negative 1. So I'm going to pick some easy ones. So I'm going to do 0, negative 4. So I'm writing on my table, 0, negative 4. And then I'm going to go down till I see another good point. So I see 4, negative 1. Yet again, hard to see on my calculator. 4, negative 1. And then I'm going to go down to another good point, which is 8, 2. 8, 2. I need at least 3 points. Okay? In your algebra class, they might ask for 5 or 6 points. I need just at least 3. Okay? So solve for y, table. For the most part, y'all were okay here. The graph is where a lot of y'all fell off. Okay? So we're going to talk about the graph first. So the first thing I need you to do is neatly, don't just draw it on there, neatly draw a y-axis. So a y-axis and an x-axis. Okay? Neatly draw that. Here's things you need to do. You must label the axis. I need this to be y. I need this to be x. Okay, so if you want to make a little note at the bottom, you must label X and Y. You must label X and Y. Okay? I gotta see that. Another thing you must do is put a scale on it. Don't just give me, I need to see what, like, are you counting by 2s? Are you counting by 5s? Are you counting by 1s? I don't know until you do it. So I'm gonna put my stuff on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And then -1. You should know what you're doing. You're just putting the numbers there. Make sure you're putting them in the right spot. And I want to talk to you real quick about something as we do this. Real quick stop. I have my X done. What some of y'all were doing last class is you were starting up here and putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. The origin right here is 0, and then you have to count up. So this is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And then -1. I need to see your scale as neatly as possible. That way you're not kind of being crazy with it. So I need a scale. Must put a scale. Okay? Alright. Another thing we had rough issues with is plotting points. Be sure you're plotting them in the correct way. So real quickly, we had this table, right? If I go to graph, I should know my graph needs to look something like this. Don't just draw that on your thing because it needs to be the specific points. So if I'm drawing a line and it doesn't look like this, you can tell that you're doing something wrong. So make sure, if you want to, you can go to graph just to double check that it looks like our graph. So we'll see if it looks like it kind of. So we need to plot a point at 0, -4. So 0 is in the middle, and then we go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put a really big point so you can see it, but y'all don't need to put the point that big. Our next point is 4, -1. So I go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down 1 and put a big old point. Okay, and then my next point is 8, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. Okay? Alright, and as you can see, those dots are kind of on the same way as that. Okay? Alright, some things you need to talk about with the line. Some of y'all are drawing just a line to connect the points. And that is not what I need you to do. That line, even though you only plotted those 3 points, that line keeps going in both directions. So, using your ID, hang on, I'm taking it off. Using your ID, yet again, I'm going to have to put the camera down to do it. I want you to make a straight edge and then draw your line all the way through. So hang on a second. You're going to be going away for a little bit. Right now, you should be getting your ruler or your ID out and then making a line that'll go all the way as best as possible through the graph. Okay, so voila, I have a line. I need to put arrows on it. Okay, and then my graph is done. Okay, so you need to label the X and Y. You need to create a scale. You need to plot your points, and you need to draw a straight line. Okay, I need to see all of that in order for it to be correct. Okay, so I'll be taking off like -2 for your scale, -2 for not labeling X and Y, -2 for not drawing it. You know what I mean? Like, make sure that you're doing it correctly. Okay, that's the graph. That was the most missed last time. And then X and Y intercepts, that's where you kind of are pretty good. So the y-intercept, you could solve for it, but you already told me that the y-intercept is 0, -4. So I already know that the y-intercept is 0, -4. Okay? Now the x-intercept is when y is 0. So you go back to this, and I rewrite all this stuff, but instead of y, I'm going to put 0. So I'll put a little x here to remind me what I'm doing. We're going to put 3x minus 4, but instead of y, you put 0. Equals 16. So if you need to make a note of what we're doing, all we're doing is plug in 0. Okay? This goes away. You're left with 3x equals 16. And then you just divide by 3. So 16 divided by 3. 16 divided by 3 is 5.33333. Now, just wait 1 second. If we look on our graph, you'll see that the graph does cross somewhere after 5, in between 5 and 6. So we can tell that's right. Like if when I did that, I got 2.5. Like that doesn't cross here, but it does cross somewhere in between there. So that's correct, but I don't want to. I want a decimal. So math, enter, enter, and it's just 16 over 3. So I'm gonna put x-intercept is, another thing y'all are messing up is this is the x and this is the y. So if the x-intercept, the number goes there, and then the y is 0. Okay? So all you're doing today is you have a couple problems, like you don't have 20 of these, but you're going to be doing all 4 of these things. I have a lot of graph paper, so you need to be writing clear. If you need to write big, that's fine. But if you're making your little, like some of y'all were doing your multi-reps in like a space this big, okay, that's not going to work. I can't really see the stuff, so I need it, kind of big. All right, if you have questions, let me know.